Borthakur IAS Academy, an endeavor of excellence.
Borthakur IAS Academy.
Hello everyone, welcome to Borthakur's IAS Academy, Northeast's premier institute for UPSC, APSC and NPSC preparations. I am your friend Atreyi, and today I am here with another segment of Current Affairs 365, where we will be discussing all the important news and updates dated 15th of June 2021. Don't forget to like and share this video and also subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can follow us on Facebook as well as Instagram for any current updates regarding civil services examination and along with that any other state government services. So without any further ado, let's get started. So the first news of today is about desertification, land degradation and drought. Here we will see how environmental pollution and degradation has affected our land resources. Okay, recently our Prime Minister delivered a keynote address at the United Nations high-level dialogue on desertification, land degradation and drought. This was done via a video conference, and here he spoke as the president of the 14th session of Conference of Parties. And this dialogue, it is expected to encourage all the member states to adopt and implement land degradation neutrality targets and the national drought plans. So let us have a look at the keynotes of this address. Okay, first of all, he highlighted the steps taken by India in case of land degradation and drought. India is on a right track to achieve its national commitment on land degradation neutrality. Now, what is land degradation neutrality? It is a state whereby the amount and quality of land resources which is necessary to support the ecosystem functions and services and also to enhance the food security, it either remains stable or it increases within a specified temporal and spatial scales along with the ecosystems. Currently, India is working to restore around 26 million hectares of degraded land by 2030, and this would contribute India's commitment to achieve the additional carbon sink of 2.5 to 3 billion tons of carbon dioxide equivalent. So over the last 10 years, around 3 million hectares of forest cover has been added. And here we can take the example of the Bani region in the Run of Kutch, Gujarat. It suffers from highly degraded land and receives a very little amount of rainfall. In this region, land restoration has been done by developing grasslands, which helps in achieving the land degradation neutrality. Okay. Then secondly, he focused on the challenges which are being faced by the developing country. Today, land degradation, it affects over 2/3 of the world. Okay. And India is assisting all the fellow developing countries in order to develop land restoration strategies. Here, a center of excellence has been set up in India to promote a scientific approach towards issues related to land degradation, and it is at the Indian Council of Forestry Research and Education based in Dehradun, which is an autonomous body under the Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change. Land degradation is mainly caused by some extreme weather conditions like drought, but in addition to it, almost every environmental issue or any environmental pollution, it is also affected by human activities which pollutes or degrade the quality of soil and land utility. Desertification is a severe consequence of land degradation, and desertification is defined as the process which creates arid, semi-arid and dry subhumid areas. It decreases the water content which is present in the soil, and this not only accelerates the climate change and biodiversity loss, but it also contributes to situations like droughts, wildfires, involuntary migration, and not to forget the emergence of zoonotic infectious diseases. Now let us see what are the efforts that has been taken on the global platform in order to keep a check on land degradation. First of all, we'll have to mention about the United Nations Convention to Combat Desertification, which was established in the year 1994. Then the Delhi Declaration of 2019, it was signed by the 14th Conference of Parties of the UNCCD, and it has been called for in order to achieve better access and stewardship over land. Then we have to talk about the Bond Challenge. Okay, it is aimed to bring about around 150 million hectares of the world's deforested and degraded land into restoration by the year 2020. And the Great Green Wall, which is an initiative by the Global Environment Facility, where 11 countries in the Sahel-Saharan Africa have focused efforts to fight against land degradation and revive the native plant life to the landscape. This was all about the global platform. Okay, now coming to India's effort to check land degradation. India is currently focusing on sustainable land and resource management for livelihood generation at the community level, which will make the local lands healthier and productive, and it is also going to provide better homeland and future to its inhabitants. Then the National Action Program for Combating Desertification, which was created in the year 2001 in order to take appropriate actions in addressing the problems of desertification. There are some other major programs also which has been created in order to address the issues related to land degradation and desertification. Here, Integrated Watershed Management Program can be mentioned, which is under the Pradhan Mantri Krishi Sinchai Yojana. Then we also have Manrega, National Mission for Green India, Soil Conservation in the Catchment of River Valley Project, Fodder and Feed Development Scheme, which is a component of the grassland development, including grass reserves, etc. The next news is about the Dammara Hydroelectric project in Bihar, which is going to be constructed over the river 𝐬𝐫𝐠. Recently, a memorandum of understanding has been signed between the National Hydropower Corporation Limited and the Bihar State Hydroelectric Power Corporation Limited for implementation of this project at Supaul, Bihar. Now, the National Hydropower Corporation, it is a Category A mini Ratna company under the Ministry of Power. It is the largest organization for hydropower development in India, and currently NHPC has 24 operational power stations with a total installed capacity of 7,071 megawatt. This project will be located near the village Dammara on right side and Simri on the left bank. Okay, and it is a run of the river scheme. Run of river hydro projects, these are those projects that utilizes the natural downward flow of rivers and micro turbine generators that captures the kinetic energy carried by water. And typically water is taken from the river at a higher point, and then it is diverted to a channel, pipeline, or some pressurized pipeline. This project will have a total capacity of generating 130 megawatt energy, in which 17 units will be installed for power generation. The estimated cost of construction of this project is at around 2,478.24 crore. This particular project is expected to uplift the power sector scenario of Bihar. Okay, and apart from that, it is also going to generate clean and green power and will boost the socio-economic and infrastructure development in that particular area. And naturally, it is also going to create a lot of employment opportunities. When construction works will start, this is going to provide employment opportunities to the local laborers. And coming to river 𝐬𝐫𝐠, we all know that it is a transboundary river which flows through Tibet, Nepal, as well as India. And it has its source in Tibet that includes the world's highest upland. And the river 𝐬𝐫𝐠 has three major tributaries, which are the Sun 𝐬𝐶, Arun, and Tamu. This river is also known as the sorrow of Bihar, and river Damodar is known as the sorrow of, it was used to be known as sorrow of Bengal. Now, the next news, it is about recognizing the world's fifth ocean, which is the Southern Ocean. Recently, on the occasion of World Ocean Day on 8th of June, the National Geographic magazine, it recognized the Southern Ocean as world's fifth ocean. The International Hydrographic Organization, which is an intergovernmental consultative and technical organization, it too had earlier recognized the Southern Ocean as a distinct water body which surrounds the Antarctica in 1937. Now, International Hydrographic Organization, it was established in the year 1921 to support the safety of navigation and protection of marine environment. India is also a member of this particular organization. The other four oceans of our Earth includes Pacific, Atlantic, Indian, and Arctic oceans. Most of the water which surrounds Antarctica out to around 60 degrees south latitude, excluding the Drake Passage and Scotia Sea, they constitute the newly acknowledged Southern Ocean. And this ocean is the only one to touch three other oceans, which are Pacific, Atlantic and the Indian Ocean. And this particular water body, it is being defined as defined by the Antarctic Circumpolar Current, which flows from west to east around Antarctica. And these current, they were formed around 34 million years ago, which is the only current in the world to close upon itself in a circumpolar loop. So this triad of this current, it makes it the most important current in the Earth's climate system, because it links the three oceans, Atlantic, Pacific and Indian Ocean, and along with it, it is the primary means of interbasin exchange of heat, carbon dioxide, chemicals and other tracers. So this Antarctic Circumpolar Current, it is created by the combined effects of strong westerly winds across the Southern Ocean and the big change in surface temperature, which is between the poles and the equator. Now the question is, what is the need to recognize Southern Ocean as the fifth ocean of the world? This is taken as a step towards the conservation of world's oceans, which focuses on public awareness onto a region in particular that needs a conservation spotlight. In addition to that, there is a rapid warming of the Southern Ocean because of global warming, industrial fishing on species like krill and the Patagonian toothfish that had been a matter of concern for decades, and they hope that this particular acknowledgement, it will draw attention to these important issues. Now here you can see the area which has been acknowledged as the Southern Ocean, surrounding the Antarctica up to 60 degrees south latitude, and as I have already mentioned, Southern Ocean, it is going to surround the Pacific Ocean, Atlantic Ocean as well as Indian Ocean. Next, we are going to discuss about the frequent occurrences of overlapping hazards, how these hazards and its after effect is impacting the lives of human beings. Okay, then we will also discuss some important remedies in order to address these problems. We all know that India in the recent time has been hit by two different cyclones in the western coast, namely cyclone Tote, and the eastern coast, that is cyclone Yas. Okay, along with that, we'll also have to make a mention of the earthquake that was that struck the northeastern states on 28th of April. So these increasing number of environmental hazards, it is mainly showing us the effects of climate change, how our earth has become more and more vulnerable because of climate change and rise in the pollution levels. Now the major concerning matter, okay, here is that the occurrence of these overlapping hazards. For example, if we consider the cyclone Yas, then we can see that it caused some immediate damage, right? The cyclone, it caused some immediate damage, but the flood which it induced, it took the adversity of this whole episode to another different level. It scaled up the level of adversity. Furthermore, we'll have to add here that all these environmental hazards, they are happening in the middle of another mega hazard, which we can say it is the COVID-19 pandemic. So there is an urgent requirement on the part of both state as well as non-state actors to take some immediate measures which will acknowledge these multiple risks, okay, which are being emanating from these overlapping hazards, and also will try to reduce the same. First of all, let us see what are the examples of all these overlapping hazards. First one being the floods in the Ganga-Brahmaputra plain. During the flood month, they bring with them a lot of other problems associated with the geographical location of habitation. And they are waterlogged regions, areas which are in the riverside and prone to bank erosion. Then they can be riverine floods in areas with no embankment, floods in the countryside after breach of embankment, okay, flash floods in the urban areas and cities, and along with that riverbank erosion, which is the most common one. Then cyclone and the after effects of cyclone, that is flooding which is being induced by cyclone. The recent example is cyclone Yas, okay, and along with it the Yas induced flooding, it has affected many human beings and many, like, you know, it has affected a lot of people. And then cyclone-induced flooding, it also includes disruption in form of salinity intrusion, loss of agriculture and fisheries capture. Okay, then rotting of fish, plants and animals. They results a severe stench and it pollutes the water bodies. Okay, and that can possibly lead to some waterborne diseases as well. Thirdly, the social vulnerability, which owes to overlapping hazards. It also emerges from some other underlying socio-economic political conditions, and often the marginalized population, okay, they have to reside in such precarious areas. They often lack access to various resources like land, safe housing, water, then sanitation, stable livelihoods, etc. And all this is both a cause as well as outcome of their social vulnerability. So a section of our society, they become quite socially vulnerable because of these overlapping hazards. Okay, so this was all about today's session. I hope you liked this video and it is going to be helpful for each one of you. Don't forget to like and share this video and subscribe to our YouTube channel. I'll see you all again tomorrow with another session of Current Affairs 365, only on Borthakur's IAS Academy, Northeast's premier institute for UPSC, APSC and NPSC preparations. Till then, take care, keep learning. Bye-bye.
বৰঠাকুৰ আইএছ একাডেমি প্ৰস্তুতি আৰু অধ্যয়নৰ নিৰ্ভৰযোগ্য ঠিকনা
Borthakur IAS Academy.